Hey everyone, it's BlueLizardJello and welcome back at long last to the Surge. We did previously complete the base game with a full walkthrough, but we never got around to A Walk in the Park, their first paid DLC. With another DLC right around the corner, the good, the bad, and the augmented, I felt it is finally time to tackle this DLC. In fact, I only just got around to playing it just very recently. If you're watching my walkthrough of the base game, this would take place between episodes 7 and 8. The way that this DLC is set up is that if you're in a new game cycle, which this character is, it is actually split into two parts. The first part you can enter as early as Central Production B, and it's scaled around that level, or what level you should be around that time. You won't be able to complete the DLC until much later, however. I wanted to show that split, but if you're in New Game Plus or higher, you can actually do this as a single section. You don't have to leave and come back like we're going to have to do. Now, I'm going to be talking about my gear, and of course I'm talking about the DLC, but if you want to skip that, I will put a timestamp in the comments below. So let's take a look at the gear we will be using. Right now, I have two favorited, the MG Strigil, which is this twin-rigged elemental weapon you see. This was added through a free DLC, which is the Fire and Ice Pack. And then I'm also using the one you can see in the top row, the code name Engelhardt, a single-rigged, much higher damage weapon, but of course significantly slower. This was added from the Cutting Edge DLC. Mostly, I'm going to be focused on the Strigil. I love the twin-rigged weapons because I love speed, and speed is really going to be the name of the game with this build, and I use that term loosely, but we're going to be taking a look at this because the Lynx gear, which is the armor that I'm using, the set bonus gives me increased attack speed when I'm at or near full health. Now, the Lynx set is the first set that you can start with. You can either choose Lynx or Rhino. So it is very early game, but I have upgraded everything to Mark II. All of my armor, all of my weapons are all upgraded to Mark II. It took several hours of farming, but I really love the Lynx set. It's lightweight, doesn't take a lot of core power, and it gives me that attack speed. As far as implants go, I have a couple of vital boosts to increase my health, and then I'm also going to be focused around high energy. You'll be seeing that here in just a moment. Couple of vital injections just to make sure that I keep my health topped off. And then I have the endurance and velocity array. So when my energy is high, I get an increase to my attack speed and to my stamina regeneration, which is very, very nice. Now, one other skill that I have only recently seen just how valuable it is blocking. And I'm using the kinetic converter to actually generate energy as I block attacks, which will synergize nicely with the other arrays that I have. And then I have the aggression amplifier, which every time I perform a finishing move, I'll get 10% HP back. You will notice I don't have any of the Omni Audit implants installed. In other words, I will not be able to see enemies' health or stability. The only thing I'll be able to rely on is when the prompt actually shows that I can perform an execution. I hope that's not too irritating to you. It's something I've learned to live without, especially with this rig, since I just don't have enough implant slots. In order to get to the entrance, we are actually going to do a little bit of backtracking and head down this shortcut that we opened up. Once again, we are in Central Production B. This is the area just after the starting zone. Taking the Exo Link down into Support Link 2. We have one twin-rigged enemy ahead, so I am going to use that to show just how blocking does increase my energy gain. Not too bad. Once again, more energy. And kill him very quickly, and you can see those icons appearing, which show that I am getting increased attack speed and stamina regen. Just there, I did store a drone charge, so now I can use it at any time. Speaking of which, we haven't looked at my drone. I'm using the concussive module, which means that this drone will go out and it'll knock enemies flying back and send them down to the ground, and it gives me a good opportunity either to get back and heal or to do a lot of damage. The DLC, when this came out, it did add a lot of this spray paint, a lot of these advertisements for CREO World.
Tour. First, a certified tour guide will meet you there, show you our mind-blowing fabrication technologies, and tend to your every need before escorting you back to CREO World's many wonderful amusement options. Always free to you and your family. Welcome visitors of CREO World to the guided tour of our
My rule of thumb is, if Don Hackett is speaking, I'm going to be listening.
Footprints to assembly. And get ready
But with that glowing advertisement, let's get on to the maglev and head to CREO World.
We hope you enjoy.
procedure has been initiated. We
And would you believe that something goes wrong?
Please do not exit the train until help arrives. A rescue squad has been dispatched. Please follow the instructions of the rescue squad chief, and thank you for your patience.
We are now in CREO World, but clearly with the maglev shutting down, we need to find out what is going on. It does have a bit of a self-contained story, and I will be listening to dialogues and audio logs, so if that's not your cup of tea, you may want to find more of a streamlined walkthrough, but I do like the story of the Surge, and while this is self-contained, it does tie into the base game story pretty nicely, but we'll talk more about that as we start to uncover what happened here. Bit of a station map. And as we head into this room, you can see that one item. We can't get that just yet. We're going to have to loop around once we get to the second section, which means we're going to have to clear this area, go back to the base game and get a little further. That exolift, same thing. We can't activate that just yet.
Hello.
Hey, you! I can see you. I just hacked into this drone. Please, thank God. Found someone else who hasn't gone insane like everyone else around here.
So the operator is able to contact us through this drone. We'll be meeting him very shortly.
Welcome to CREO World, I guess. This place definitely isn't as family-friendly as it used to be, huh? Look, I really could use your help. There's a mobile operations center perched on the edge of the sinkhole. You can't miss it.
And he's right, you can't miss it. It's going to be straight ahead. But welcome to CREO World. Just as he stated, we have that banner directly behind us, along with a statue of Iron Mouse fighting Carbon Cat. But just look at the carnage. We have rubble and bodies and blood absolutely strewn about. So something has just gone very, very wrong here. And as we approach that bridge, we're going to get an understanding as to maybe just what happened. Those mascots are patrolling, and those are going to be some of the primary enemies that we fight. Those four in particular are a unique set, and that is a parade that if you kill all four of them, you get a unique weapon, and you actually get an achievement for it. We'll be doing that probably in the next episode. Here is our first mascot. Speaking of achievements, if you cut off all four of their heads, you will get one. Now they do have a number of attack options. They do have this melee, they have the long range jump, they have a laser attack, and they also have this EMP pulse. We're going to see all of those in today's episode, but my goal right now is to generate enough energy to make sure I can get that head cut. There's the block. Should be getting the option to cut here very soon. There it is. And cutting off the head, we get the wrecked head of Donnie Donuts. One down. So there's the operations station straight ahead. Taking a look here in Iron Mouse Plaza, there's again the statue of Iron Mouse. This is kind of the central location for the DLC, and it's split into sections. Over there, we have the section that we're going to use to actually turn the network back on, and directly behind us is where we're going to have to turn the power back on before we can do anything. There's one of the energy fields. We'll have to disable that from the other side. That'll provide a nice shortcut back to operations. And you also see a lot of the amusement park rides in the background. Unfortunately, you don't get to ride all of them. You do get to ride one of them, but we're not going to be doing that for a couple of parts yet. We have to focus on the power, and then the network, and then the operator is going to give us access to a new area. And at that point, he's going to tell us, once you've actually talked to Dr. Chavez, which we know from the base game, then we can come back and we can complete the rest of the DLC. But this section is where we're going to head to next. And first, we have this audio log.
Hey, folks. Welcome to CREO World. Why don't you come on in? Families are welcome. Fun is guaranteed. And hey, you might just learn a little something, too. That's CREO's pro... Uh-huh. Really? Okay, sorry folks. CREO World is closed while we clean and repair America's favorite family fun park. Don't forget to...
Danger. Danger. System malfunction. Containment error code 0x800F081F. System reset imminent. Evacuation procedures in effect. Danger. Danger.
Now, Don Hackett said that it was closed for clean and repair, but that's obviously not the case. So the operations center is directly behind us. I did take a look at a grate on the ground. That'll be another shortcut that we open up right there in a little while, actually in a couple episodes. But now we can head right into the base of operations. Poor guy got crushed by it. And let's talk to the operator and exhaust his dialogue options because, again, I do want to listen to the story. By the way, just as a reminder, gear assembly. If you need to make new gear or upgrade your gear, it does not reset your tech multiplier bonus, but resting at the med bay does. So if you need more health and injectables, you can rest, but you are going to lose that tech scrap multiplier. Gear assembly does not. Friendly reminder.
I'm glad you made it. My name's Largo. It's good to meet you. I'm the operator of the park's search and rescue unit.
Nobody can tell me what's going on around here. Maybe you can.
Some kind of big energy surge fried my team's chopper and we fell right out of the sky. Haven't been able to raise any of them on comms since the crash. And now, everything is gone insane. The park's mega support pillar collapsed, the systems are damaged or out of control. This is apocalypse-level shit. But there might be survivors out there. And if my team's looking for them, they'll be depending on me to get these systems up and running again. I'm their eyes and ears. Look, I could really use some feet on the ground right now.
So what are you doing here?
Me? I'm just a software engineer running support for my team. They're the real heroes, out there saving lives. My skill set is pretty limited to keyboards and repairing CREO hardware. I mean, I always used to joke that I'm the last person you'd want around in an apocalypse. Funny, right? Suddenly, not so much.
Kind of a shaky situation you're in here. What happened?
Our team was on a normal flight patrol when the controls all blew out at once. The chopper was falling fast. I pulled the emergency release on the mobile ops station, like you're supposed to do when things go bad. I thought I was a goner, but I got lucky. Must have been flying low over the ridge. When I woke up, I found the ops lab where it landed, here, perfectly balanced.
What happened to the rest of your search and rescue team?
That's what I want to find out. I can't give up on them, no matter the odds. Rodriguez, Nordberg, Eastwood, Helvig, all of them. They're good men with families. I've got a contact ping on loop since I got the station's comms working, but no one's answering. I'm just trying not to assume the worst, you know?
I can help. Just tell me what to do.
Thanks. Let me do a quick system check. Power's still out all over the park. Ops is running on emergency batteries only, and not for long. First things first, we need to get this place fully operational. Now, let me check the network. Nope, nada, no dice. We're completely offline. Without network access, I can't do diddly squat from here.
So how do I restore power to the park?
My best guess is that whatever happened out there physically damaged the power source itself. See if you can track down the problem and then find, some way to fix it. Not that helpful, I admit. I just do numbers and code, you know?
Alright, so how can I help with the network?
See, the problem with the whole network being out is there's no way to run a damn diagnostic, is there? The park's primary server is located, I think, in the Project Resolve Center. You should be able to see the place from outside ops, if it hasn't fallen into the abyss. If you can get there, I might be able to hardwire into it through your rig. And if it's not totally fried, I may be able to do some magic. Good luck out there.
And for just a little bit of extra dialogue, you see that door there with the sparks flying out of it? Try and exit through there. See what happens.
Hey! Whoa! No sudden movements, alright? It's a long way down. You know what I mean?
And you can see there actually is a section below us. Now you can't cause the med station to fall, but just for his own peace and comfort, go ahead and leave that alone. So now we have some more mascots. Now, being the donut, we already have this head. We're going to focus on the hands. If you dismember one of the limbs of any of the mascots, you can get the weapon. And that's what we're going to focus on right here with Mr. Donuts. Baiting some attacks that are easy to block. There's the cut. And we get the Mangled Articulators. The Mangled Articulators, this is a twin-rigged weapon. It's actually the broken hands of the mascots. It does have very high proficiency scaling, so if you're running a twin-rigged build, you can get a lot of bonus using this weapon. And it has 15% energy gain, which for twin-rigged is not too bad. We do have that enemy and the item down there. We're going to loop back around instead of attacking it head-on. Here we have our next mascot head that we want. Unfortunately, he's a little too close to the donut head. So I'm going to try and bait the attack. In fact, I'll use my drone that I've saved up. But since I'm using the concussive drone, all it did was send him flying backwards near the other one. I like how the donut just waved and ran away. Okay, here's the laser attack. You can see when they start to convulse like that, that is when they're going to shoot those lasers. If you're close enough, it's a great opportunity to get behind and knock them to their knees for a lot of free damage. Trying to bait some melee attacks here. The donut is coming back. And it looks like this guy is just very content to stay back near his mascot friend. See if we can get him to come to us, but it looks like he's very happy with just shooting these lasers at us. Wow, he's even getting closer. See if we can bait one more laser attack and then we can charge in. There's the lasers. And let's run in with the slide. Now we just need to generate some more energy so we can get that cut. Here's the EMP pulse. When they do that attack, just like the drones did in the first section, it will completely deplete your energy bar. And there we have Bradley the Bean. We got his head. That's 2. Over here on this ledge, we get the Vital Boost XLV2 implant. This is a hardwired implant that takes 6 core power, and this increases your HP. It scales with your core power, but it can give you between 25 and 85 HP. Now with this mascot here, since this is Bradley the Bean, we already have his head, we already have the weapon, so we don't need to focus on anything in particular. We're just going to focus on something that's not armored to kill him as quickly as we can. See there, I did get hit with the EMP, so all my energy is now gone, but that's okay. We don't actually even need to get the cut at this point. So we take him out. Now here we have another mascot that we can take out and get the head. Few more hits, watch the EMP pulse. We actually get him stuck in a bit of a loop here, which works for me. There's the prompt for the cut. And we get head number 3, which is Ironbar Ivan. Just one more to go. We're going to be getting that here very shortly. But on this corpse, we get another implant. This time it is the Vital Injection V3. So this is another injectable implant. Does take 6 core power, and this will restore 180 HP, twice as good as the ones that I'm currently using. You can see a lot more CREO World. There's actually the roller coaster that we'll be able to ride later on. Once again, we already have the weapon, we already have the head, so we're just going to focus on something that's unarmored. But you can see in the background at the top of the stairs, that soda can wearing guy, that's going to be our final mascot head. Taking him out, just getting a little bit of upgrade materials.
Detected. Now syncing private media to your CREO work account. Welcome back, Warren. CREO World staff is happy that you have chosen to join the CREO family.
There's a laser attack getting behind him. We didn't knock him down, but we did get some free damage. He should almost be ready for the cut. Here's the lasers again. Free damage. There's the prompt. And now we get the last head that we needed, Samuel J. Soda. So now, anytime we encounter a mascot, all we need to do is focus on whatever's not armored so we can take them out as quickly as possible. And still going for the cut just in case, because then we do get 10% more HP, and it does a good job at increasing our tech scrap multiplier. We saw that force field. We'll be dismantling that from the other side. Just a little bit of scrap down here in this alcove. There's a lot of hidden items in CREO World, so you have to be very thorough in your searching. For example, here we get the S&R Flare Launcher. This is a drone module. When you use this, it'll actually send an incendiary flare towards the enemies, and it'll explode with fire in a good size area of effect, and it'll do continuous damage to any enemy that's standing within it. Really good for groups of enemies. Now we have another enemy type. This is one of our humanoid enemies in the mech suit. He's not really humanoid, he's fully human, just gone insane because of the surge. And he has a new armor set for us and a new weapon. So we are going to focus on his weapon-wielding arm. Try and generate enough energy and do enough damage so I can get the cut successfully. There's the prompt. And slicing that off, we get the Mantis arm schematic, as well as the HUMI N248 Emerald. The Emerald is a single rigged weapon with 65% energy gain, pretty good for generating energy very quickly, and it also has high proficiency scaling. So if you're focused on the single rigged aspect, that can be a good option because you're going to get a lot of bonus out of those proficiencies. You can see this cable on the ground. If we follow this, this is actually going to take us to our destination. I'm going to switch over to the Engelhart just because the enemies in here are a little bit tougher than the mascots and I want to kill them a little faster. You can see over to the right, that is going to be the arena, but I wanted to come over here. There's an item hidden behind this fence. We have another implant, the Plasmic Accumulator. This is a new implant and it's really interesting. It's a hardwired implant, so you can only change this out at a med station. It does take 3 core power, but what it states is overhealing is stored as a health buffer. So if you use an injectable or if you're getting health back because of the aggression amplifier and it goes beyond your HP bar, normally you would just lose that, it would be wasted. But with the accumulator, it actually extends your health bar temporarily. It will slowly tick down, it's about 1 HP per second, but if you take small amounts of damage, it will actually use that to keep you healed, which is pretty fantastic. In other words, instead of wasting extra healing, you're using it to save your life in the event that you take some damage going forward. You can see some more area and some more items over there. We're going to have to loop around through this building to get there.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, welcome to the CREO Lumberjack Show. Watch as our employees demonstrate the power and accuracy of our famous CREO Exo rig.
Thank you very much, Don Hackett. So that area or arena directly ahead, that is where we're going to find the power cell so we can restore power. But with the enemy I just fought, since I already had his weapon, I focused on its head. So now we can get the Mantis headgear schematic. Just up here, do have another implant, the Medi-voltaic version 3, an injectable 8-core power using implant that restores 50 HP for only 24 energy. Really good, again, for those high energy builds if you just want to stay topped off with health. Now this next enemy, he does have an item that we want, actually a weapon that we want. It is twin rigged, so we can use the same tactics that we've used before. Just bait some of those easy to block attacks. There's the prompt already. And we get the ROBOI or the ROBOI Auto-Nailer. So again, this is a twin rigged weapon. It has low energy gain and frankly it's not the fastest in its class. Some tech scrap hiding behind that box. So really the Auto-Nailer, it's just kind of subpar to most of the other twin rigged weapons. But if you're a collector like I am, there it is. Some more scrap over here. Now we have 2 enemies, one directly to the left and one here. We are going to try and focus on a new body part since we already have the weapon of this one. Go for the leg this time. Look at how much energy gain I get just from a single block on this enemy. It does seem to be that the harder hitting the attack was, the more energy gain you get. There's our Mantis leg gear schematic, and over here, once again, a new item. He is using a heavy weapon, so we can use the tactics just like we did in the first area to either block or dodge these attacks. Let's see if we can get a dodge going. Perfect. So what I did there, if you missed it, I blocked the first swing, and then when he looped around and he swung low, I was able to jump over it and get the stun. It works really nicely. So we get the Chopmaster 5000 for cutting off his arm. It is a heavy-duty weapon, and it has 60% energy gain, so not too bad for energy gain. And then we'll grab this audio log.
Lumberjacks? What does CREO know about lumberjacks? You know CREO's helping people around the world, helping save the world. But lumberjacks? Here's the thing. You see the power and the speed of the CREO rigs chopping down trees. You see the strong, agile, and dare I say, good-looking CREO employees at work. But what you don't know is that before any of them stepped into their rigs, they weren't stepping anywhere without a wheelchair. That's right. CREO XO rigs give the disabled the power to walk again. Can you believe we live in a world with such miracles? I say, timber!
A couple of things I need to make mention of. You saw I picked up that scrap back in the corner. I also used that overcharge station to make the exolift available. But I really love what Don Hackett was just saying. It seems to suggest that, like Warren, who was a paraplegic prior to being employed here at CREO, it sounds like all of their employees were actually bound to wheelchairs, and working here gave them the chance to walk again. We have the opportunity here to get the very last of the Mantis gear. All we need is the chest piece, so let's get some blocks going, generate a lot of energy. There's the prompt. And there's the cut. So now we do have the schematic for the body gear. Now we can make the entirety of the Mantis set. Some tech scrap here. There's the arena. We do have to fight 3 enemies. Here's a healing station. So the first 8 stations, they do restore all of your HP, but they also give you back your injectables. I have all my injectables, but I figure might as well top off before we get to this fight. When we drop down, we're going to be attacked by the one with the Chopmaster, and then the other 2 will join once he's dead. So my goal is just to drop down, use the same tactics we just used on him, and then we will use the drone module towards the end of this fight just to make it a little bit easier. Baiting some of these attacks. There's the jump for the stun. Perfect. Lots of damage. There's the prompt. Not too bad at all. And now it's time to start running away. You can use the stage in the middle to separate these enemies. I'm going to try and focus on the Auto-Nailer guy first, just so we can get him out of the way. Watch that projectile attack. The emerald in the hands of the enemy does have that projectile that will travel along the ground. Actually, it looks like it's throwing its saw blade. Sadly, as the player, we cannot use that. One enemy down. Might as well just use my drone to knock him over. Focusing on the head because it's not armored and he is dead. Grab some more material that the one enemy dropped, and yes, we are close to the power core. In fact, it is right here. Does shut down that force field, and now we can follow the cable that we've been following this whole time.
There's gotta be a master control ahead.
We even were just told by the operator, just follow the cable. It'll lead us where we need to. In CREO World, it can be a little bit confusing, like some of the layout in the Surge, so just follow the cable. You should be okay. There's an overcharge that's going to get rid of that force field. We're going to go through that just to kind of get a lay of the land to make sure we know exactly where we are. So up here, there's the cable again. This is where we came from, where we first started fighting the mascots. Up there to the right, that's where we entered the lumberjack station. So now we're in a new section. Now over here at the fire starter roller coaster, there's not a lot we can do. There's just 3 enemies, there's some tech scrap, and other than that, we're going to have to come back here once we have more access to CREO World. Get the cut, again, for the tech scrap multiplier and the added health. Some more tech scrap hidden behind here, and there's 2 more mascots that are going to be coming down the stairs. I'm actually going to back up because they will turn around once they get to the base. Once they do that, then I can take them out one at a time. You can see here they're not too concerned about each other, so all I need to do is start attacking this one. I can get the cut. Apparently cut right through him. And then just go topside to get the last one. There's the lasers. Free damage. Free damage for him as well. Already there's the prompt. And he is done. So now we have nowhere else we can go in this section. We have a couple of energy fields that won't be taken down, and then we also do have those 2 doors that'll open from the other side. But looping back around, you can see right here, it takes 60 core power to overcharge that station, and you'll get a nano core. If you remember from my base game walkthrough, the nano cores will allow you to upgrade from certain marks to a next upgrade level. For example, Mark 4 to Mark 5. over here on this building, we do get the Plasmic Regenerator V3. This is a 4 core power injectable implant that'll heal 6 HP for every second over 30 seconds, so a total of 180 HP. Now up ahead, I do have that Ogre, or the big buddy enemy. I'm going to fight that while we listen to this audio log.
Is totally awesome. You so wish you were here right now. Prepare yourself. As I say these 2 words. Iron Mouse. Yeah, for reals. And not just like a guy in a suit. He's a full-on AI synthetic Iron Mouse. I had a conversation with him about, but get this. In like an hour, I'm meeting. Ready for it? Carbon Cat. I gotta go. Talk later.
So we hear more talk about Iron Mouse and Carbon Cat. In the last half of the DLC, or at least for the last boss, there are only 2, but for the second boss, we do want to be wearing the Iron Mouse armor. We'll be doing that in this playthrough for sure. But by killing that enemy, by taking off his arm, the weapon-wielding arm, we get both the schematic for the Ogre arm, so we'll be getting the full set of armor, and we also get the portable Omni Assembler. It's another heavy-duty weapon with decent energy gain and very high impact, so really good for stunning. But really what I wanted to show off is this right here. When you kill these enemies, they will drop these power cells. They're completely inert and safe right now, but when you attack them just once, you can see that it will start beeping and it changes colors. This is now a proximity mine. When we or an enemy get too close to it, it will explode and do some decent damage. We'll be using this against the enemies, especially when we're in a forced enemy wave situation. There's the explosion. Now before we actually continue on, since we're nearing the end of the episode, let's run back here, grab some more scrap, use this overcharge station. And that will undo this force field, and as we head down, you can see we're now in Iron Mouse Plaza again. Let's deal with this enemy quickly, and then we are actually going to head back to operations and wrap up this episode. By the way, I didn't mention it, but the Ogre armor, when you have a full set, any attack that hits the ground will add a shockwave, an area of effect damage, and it actually does considerable damage. It can be up to 30% of your damage as a residual shockwave. But that is going to do it for this episode of The Surge, a Walk in the Park DLC walkthrough. I hope you learned something, and if you did, please make sure you leave me a comment below and let me know what you learned. And if I missed something, as always, you have to leave that as well so we can all keep learning. But I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.